I'm delighted to present Sustainable Stories, an ITIC spotlight on Irish sustainable tourism businesses, which is being produced in association with AIB. ITIC is the Irish Tourism Industry Confederation, representing 20,000 tourism businesses across the country. Our recently launched Sustainable Tourism Report is available on our website, itic.ie, and in this series of interviews, I will be speaking with leaders in the tourism sector who have made exceptional steps towards achieving climate action goals, and to hear their stories of how they are managing their businesses responsibly and sustainably. Today, I'm going to be speaking to Becky Hargrove, who's the manager of the Kerry Convention Bureau. Becky, it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thanks, Catherine. I'm delighted to be on with you.
So, Becky, why don't you start by telling me a little bit about the Convention Bureau in Kerry and the work that you do there?
Thanks, Catherine. Kerry Convention Bureau, it specialises in developing and attracting meetings and incentives, conferences and exhibitions business, which is commonly referred to as MICE, for the region of Kerry. And our role is to promote and sell Kerry as a diverse and inspiring business events destination, and providing a free and impartial range of services and practical supports to event organisers and meeting planners. And it's designed to help holding a meeting or an event in Kerry attractive and simple to organise. And so our Kerry-wide membership comprises of some of Ireland's best-known venues, hotels, activity providers, travel companies, destination management companies and conference organisers. And we all work collaboratively to attract those meetings and conferences and events to the area. And we would receive funding and fantastic support from Fáilte Island and Kerry County Council. And we work collectively to promote Kerry as a region for business events on the international stage. And we'd also undertake activities with our colleagues at the Shannon and Galway and Cork and Dublin Convention Bureaus under the banner of Convention Bureaus of Ireland. And at a county level, we'd work closely with key industry partners such as the Kerry Tourism Industry Federation, Kerry County Council, and Killarney and Tralee Chambers and Kerry Airport.
That's fantastic. It sounds like a very busy role representing so many different interests. But Kerry's always been renowned internationally as an absolute leader in Ireland when it comes to tourism and hospitality. But you're more than that. You're a leading sustainable destination, and you've recently ranked #1 on the Global Destination Sustainability Index for Ireland and ranked in the top 10 in Europe. Tell us about what that index means, first of all.
Since 2018, I've led out on Kerry's annual participation in the Global Destination Sustainability Index. So what it is, it's a global benchmarking program that's designed to help both event planners and now leisure visitors to identify destinations around the world that are leading the way in sustainable tourism, so that they can make informed decisions about where to hold events and visit for a holiday. So the submission process, it requires us to capture and collate an extensive range of information across 4 pillars, which are environment, social, supplier and destination. And we respond to detailed criteria. We provide examples and evidence of industry performance, efforts, endeavours, initiatives and strategic focus within the spheres for sustainability across the whole county of Kerry. So I'm delighted to say that Kerry is currently ranked number 13 globally on this index. That puts us up alongside some heavy hitting destinations when it comes to leading the way in sustainable tourism, such as Gothenburg, Copenhagen, Glasgow, Reykjavik and Melbourne. And our annual submission to the index, it's helped us as a region to adopt and promote and recognise responsible and sustainable tourism practices. And we do this in collaboration with both KTIF, so the Kerry Tourism Industry Federation, and Kerry County Council at a local level, and then with our partners Fáilte Island at a national level.
Wow, fantastic. Well, since you first started participating in 2018, you've crept up the ranks, as you said, and it's super to be amongst such fantastic contemporaries globally. What particular steps do you think made a difference that propelled you to #1 in Ireland and top 10 in Europe?
So it has been a progressive journey, Catherine. And I mean, a case in point to that would be that in our first year, we came 39th out of 40 destinations participating. So we knew we had a long way to go.
Yeah.
But there's now approximately 80 destinations from around the globe taking part. So it really has grown in the years since we started. And for us to be ranked alongside those top destinations, it really is a result of establishing strong relationships and building awareness with key stakeholders such as Kerry County Council that can be revisited each year. And that enables us both, access the information we need and to open doors on activities that are taking place around the county that we can then share. And so while the criteria is expanded each year, our own internal understanding and expertise in regards to what's required has also grown. And last year, we were thrilled to take a collaborative approach with KTIF and the Kerry Sustainability Committee to develop a joint strategy that's now, I suppose, informing and driving all that we do as a county. And there's been some great Kerry initiatives in recent years that have really helped us move up the rankings, including the launch of the Killarney Hotels Sustainability Group, and also the demonstrated efforts undertaken by many of our Kerry tourism operators to reduce their impact by implementing measures and programs to reduce food waste and better manage their energy and water consumption.
Wow, that's fantastic. I mean, it does sound like you've really engaged all of the important stakeholders in the county to bring everybody on board, because you need everybody's buy-in to make it happen as a destination. And our international conference organisers, do they now seek to establish your green credentials when they're making their decision in deciding where to go?
We are increasingly seeing that as an ask for event planners, and even more so since business started to return this year following the pandemic. Look, there's an absolute, there's a heightened awareness of the importance of both meeting and travelling sustainably, and as well as event planners being keen to explore opportunities to leave a legacy outcome to their event by delivering, social and community-driven outcomes for the destination which they meet. So for us to support our members who are leading the way in sustainability and make it easier for those event planners to make informed choices, we've actually done a lot of work, particularly this year, to, for example, update our website to ensure that the spotlight is firmly placed on those hotels and venues that are undertaking third-party accreditation, so that we can, make it as easy as possible, along with our, own input when we're talking to event planners, for them to be able to make green choices.
Okay, so the more that you display the credentials that all of your members and suppliers have achieved in Kerry, the easier it is for you to put those in forward when you're making your bids, when you're presenting. Okay, I understand. And are there any events in particular that you remember over the last number of years where you felt the client was deeply engaged in sustainable tourism and that important part of, as you say, leaving a positive legacy on their visit?
Yeah, well, I think the one that really comes to mind for me would be the European Outdoor Educators Conference. So that was held at MTU back in 2019. And at the heart of their network, it was about connecting people with their environment. So for them, environmental and sustainability was at the core of that event. So, for example, it was locally sourced vegan and vegetarian food was the norm throughout the kind of the whole conference. And for the gala dinner, the organisers worked with local suppliers to create a really unique, hyper-local menu, featuring whether it was the Atlantic seafood from Dingle, Castle Gregory carrots, and even crab apples and elderberries from North Kerry hedgerows. Like, they really went down to kind of, gathering that and putting it into the menus. And, attendees were given custom keep cups and water bottles on arrival. So the keep cups were used for all refreshment breaks, and the water refilling stations were made readily available. So there was no single-use plastic, used at the event at all. And a lovely, really innovative approach that they had was to the name badges. So they actually made individual name badges for the attendees from compostable wood, which they'd harvested and made on campus at MTU. And they also, they had a walking bus from the conference hotel in Tralee Town up to the venue on the campus every morning. And so that limited the use of vehicles and really kind of, was in keeping with the sustainability theme of the conference. And from my understanding, they didn't set out for it to be a carbon neutral conference, but really at its heart, they had a shared commitment to sustainability, whether it's from the attendees or the conference organisers. And from an impact and a legacy perspective, I suppose they were able to put in place lots of volunteering opportunities from a wide range of community groups, in Tralee and the surrounds, who got involved in that conference. And then off the back of the event, MTU worked with Kerry County Council to develop an urban adventure project for local youth groups. So there was just, it really is an all-round example. That one stands out for me.
That's fantastic. It's such a lovely story to hear. And I'm sure all of those delegates went away with incredible memories of their visit to Kerry, and just those takeaways that they'll always have to remind them of their visit. It's extraordinary. Lovely to hear. And if you had lessons learned or advices to give based on the sustainable tourism journey that you've had so far in Kerry, working with all of your suppliers and, particularly in the MICE sector, what would you say were the keys to your success?
So I think, knowing where to start, feeling overwhelmed by what's perceived, to be involved in beginning the green journey, or even a belief that, it's going to cost your business more to make those changes are probably the biggest challenges that I would see and I would hear. However, there's so many small, simple actions with the tourism and the hospitality business that can be undertaken to start affecting positive change. It really just is about taking that first step. And there's loads of support within Ireland, including fantastic free green business training programs that can be used to assist tourism businesses to begin that the sustainable tourism journey. And so for us, it's about connecting our industry to those training opportunities and also sharing Kerry's sustainable tourism story wherever we can. So, actively promoting that green tourism message across social media and integrating it into both our business and our leisure messaging. Those would be the positive steps I'd see that have helped us demonstrate our commitment to becoming a sustainable tourism destination of choice.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I mean, what I'm taking so far from everything that you're saying is how important it is to collaborate and to, to identify who can help you along the way, and that everybody in the destination works together to achieve the outcomes that you want. So what do you think? I mean, what do you think is going to be next for Kerry, and what challenges are going to be around the corner from you? I know that you're shortly going to be making your submission for your 2022 index. And I am sure that internationally you'll have lots of competitors there for those coveted top 20 spots. So what challenges are you facing, and what's around the corner for you?
So look, I suppose in the context of my role, I'd love to see all of Ireland's MICE destinations continue to rise up the rankings of the index, so that as a nation, we are absolutely leading the way when it comes to being an international destination of choice for green events. We already have our good friends in Cork in the top 20 with us there at number 18, and the other bureaus, namely Shannon, Galway and Dublin, they're really not far behind. So ultimately, for us to continue making positive change to benefit both business and leisure tourist visitors to Kerry, and to be able to address challenges cohesively as a destination, it does, you say, it's about working in partnership with our leisure colleagues and our tourism industry partners to just come together. So for us, through the partnerships that we've formed on the Kerry Sustainability Committee, what we've been able to do is put together a 3-year Kerry County Sustainable Tourism Strategy. And that's going to help us continue to ensure that when people visit the Kingdom, they can easily access information to make sustainable choices, both when planning the trip and whilst they're there. And that strategy is very much supported by the newly published Kerry County Development Plan 2022 to 2028, which is fully integrated and aligned with the UN SDGs, as well as Fáilte Ireland's focus and commitment to sustainability as one of its core pillars. So for us, I suppose, within the context of that strategy that we've put in place at a local level, what we're keen to see is innovation by tourism operators to offer sustainable experiences. That those opportunities are encouraged and celebrated, and that all the destinations in Kerry, be it large or small, are taking practical steps to put in place measures that enable visitors to make sustainable choices. And whether that's easy access to water refilling stations, whether it's the removal of all single-use plastic, carbon neutral accommodation, electric charging stations, commitment to using local produce, or whether it's actual activities that are on offer, come along and do a beach clean, or, get involved in a community garden project. It's those small steps that are really going to make the biggest of differences. And, from a personal perspective, I sit on the global leadership team for the Sustainable Events Alliance. I'm also a regional ambassador for Sight Island. So that's the Society for Travel Incentive Excellence. And, by being involved in those organisations, I'm just always learning from others. That importance of working collectively to educate ourselves on best practice around the world. For me, it's about then taking that and feeding it back into what I'm doing within, the context of Kerry.
That's fantastic. Really, the sense that I'm getting from Kerry is that it's an everybody on board approach, like from education, local community, and staff at different levels within the suppliers and producers that you have, tying in so closely with the local authorities and those organizations that can make a difference. It's really holistic approach. Becky, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you today. I look forward to catching up with you in the future, to hearing what's next, and the very best of luck with all of your continued efforts down in Kerry.
Thanks, Catherine. I really appreciate the opportunity to chat to you.